made a video on pretty much like before you start a hair company, how you should already make sure you do a lot of research and do your homework. And I know I didn't get like the best feedback. I am getting a lot of support now, but when I originally posted a video, I didn't really get a lot of great feedback. So I really don't want anybody to take anything personal. It's just real talk. Like, I'm just trying to keep it real with you guys. I really wanted to do a motivational video, pretty much just to talk about something that you might be going through now, or something you have experienced while starting a hair company. And that's pretty much like the topic of everybody, their mama, their grandma, their auntie, their cousin, their sister, their brother. Everybody's selling hair, and it's one of those things when you're on this journey and you want to start your own hair company. It's one of those things that you really have to deal with and think about. And it's like, why should I start a hair company when everybody's doing it? Like, there's really no point or no purpose. So this video is pretty much to tell you why you should continue to do it. But it's okay if you feel that way, because I felt that way before. So when I first realized I was interested in hair, I was in the 10th, like the end of my 10th grade year. 11th grade year I was full out. Like 11th grade year I was doing like a lot of tutorials. That's when I first started my YouTube channel, and I'm gonna try to insert some videos of like some of my very first videos on YouTube, because I've been on YouTube for a long time.
All your tracks on, you want to cut the cap. So here I go. You want to be careful, because me, I'm careless. I'm just gonna cut, because I just really don't care.
That's when I first started getting interested in hair, and it wasn't until I got to college. So from 10th grade to college, I still was very interested in hair. I mean, every day I'm looking at hair tutorials. Like, as soon as I wake up to going to sleep, like I would literally fall asleep watching YouTube videos. So hair was life. And when I got to college, I was always one of those people, like, I never really knew what I wanted to do, but I knew like the only thing I was interested in was hair. And I knew like my parents and family, they really pushed the fact that I should go to college. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go to college for business, and I'm just gonna have some type of business to where I deal with hair, whether I'm selling hair or I have like my own beauty supply store. So I was in college with that idea, but of course I had to tell myself, like, well, I had the mindset of I couldn't do any of those things because I was a broke college student. I ain't have no money. So this was at a time where 2010, 2011, there were a lot of hair companies, but they weren't opening up every day. It wasn't like 1,000 companies per day opening up, you know. I know I'm kind of over exaggerating, but it does seem like 1,000 companies open up every day. Back then, you probably had a good 10 major companies that everybody wanted to buy hair from. It was still kind of new, you know. So I really thought like I had time, and at that time while I was in college, I would use my refund check and I would buy virgin hair, and that's when I really started testing out virgin hair. So I knew I wanted to start a hair company at that time, but I didn't have the money. I never even came up with the idea of selling hair with no inventory. Like, it just wasn't an idea in my head at all. And I don't know, yeah, and I've mentioned this before with college. I had to drop out of college because I was pregnant. I had my son, still ain't had no money or whatever. And that's when I really kind of became a hustler. I started selling clothes on eBay. Like, I really kind of introduced and self-taught myself the whole e-commerce thing, and really started coming up with my own money. But during that time period, that's when a lot of hair companies just started rapidly opening up everywhere. I'm seeing people that I know absolutely nothing about hair opening up hair companies, and it got to a point where I just got really discouraged. I told myself, like, I don't have the money to do it. Everybody's opened up a hair company. I can't live out my dream anymore. And I was truly heartbroken, and I would be so hateful. Like, I would see other people living out my dream, and I would become so hateful. Like, I would literally hate them. I would hate their guts. And let me tell you, that is the wrong type of energy to have, and that's the wrong mind space to be in. But I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who have felt this way. So what I continue to do, I continue to test out hair. I found really good vendors. I just decided to push through. I didn't really create a plan for myself. I just knew it was something I really liked, and I just continued to push through. My boyfriend at the time, while he was at work, he worked like an office job, and they were always allowed to listen to music. And what he discovered was podcasts. I've never heard of podcasts. It's an app that comes on every Apple phone, and I decided one day to give it a try. So I typed in like start a hair business on podcast. Nothing really came up. So I started researching woman entrepreneur type of podcast, and when I tell you podcasts changed my life forever. Well, hold on, backtrack. Before podcasts, I did attempt to open a hair business prior to me listening to podcasts. And that hair business was called Indie by Ebony. And I actually started off by buying hair in bulk, which is kind of weird. Like, I literally forgot that I did that. But it failed. It failed tremendously because I had imposter syndrome, which is also something that you might struggle with. And imposter syndrome is pretty much where you don't believe you're certified, or you really don't believe that you have what it takes. Like, you really feel like you're not qualified to talk about or to sell a product. It's kind of like mental. It's hard to explain, but it's something a lot of people deal with. Like, you lack confidence. Like, you don't feel like you are able to do something because you feel like you don't meet the criteria or something, and you really just negatively impact yourself. Like, you kind of set yourself up for failure. And that's exactly what happened. I didn't believe in myself. I was shy. I didn't want to put myself out there. I was scared. I really had imposter syndrome, and it felt miserably, and I really thought my dream was over with. And then that's when I discovered podcasts. And let me tell you, every time I'm down and out, or I just feel like I can't do this no more, I turn to podcasts. Podcasts has really helped me so much. The podcast that I listen to the most is Support is Sexy, Side Hustle Pro, and Side Hustle School. They pretty much feature other entrepreneurs. The two of those podcasts are like Black entrepreneur based type of podcasts. They feature entrepreneurs that are successful. These entrepreneurs are telling you like real life experiences. Like, they're giving you the breakdown, the real deal, stuff that people don't normally tell you about. They're breaking it down, and they're letting you know, like, hey, it's not easy, or hey, these are the tips that helped me. And when I tell you, those podcasts were so motivational. That is the reason why that is the sole purpose why I decided to take a leap of faith and start Curly Hair Only. And Curly Hair Only has been so successful for me. That is the business that allowed me to make, by the end of 2017, I made $35,000, but at the end of my first year of business, I made $40,000. The end of like my complete full 12 months of being in business, my first year, I made $40,000, and it really was because of podcasts. So if you're lacking motivation, please, like, just go listen to podcasts, because it will really help you. And another thing, follow other business owners on social media. I follow so many different hair companies, people who make wigs. I follow them on Snapchat, and I follow them on Instagram, because guess what? These people do Instagram lives. These people are always sharing their tips. These people are always sharing their journey. And that way, like, you know, it's going to be ups and downs in this business, but it keeps you motivated. So back to the main point. Everybody sells hair. Why should I? And this is something I've learned through podcasts. You have to really understand that you are unique and you are different, and there's a purpose for you here on this earth. God created, or whatever you believe in, you have to believe that everyone was put on earth for a reason. And even though we're all humans, we all have different experiences, different backgrounds. We are all uniquely different. There is going to be a reason why somebody shops with you instead of shopping with me. Why? Because we are different. There's something different about you. Yes, we all sell hair, but the person behind the company, you are what makes your company special. For example, people probably shop with my company because they feel like they know me and they can trust me. That is what sets me apart from other companies. It's a lot of companies out there, they're just trying to sell hair and they really only care about making money. Me, I actually care about my customers. I actually care about what they're going through. I care about their finances. I care about them not spending hundreds of dollars on hair. That's why I make my prices very affordable. And that's what makes me really unique and different, because I'm like, I hope y'all get what I'm trying to say. Like, you are what makes your company different. People do not buy products just to buy products anymore. They're buying into a brand. They will buy from you solely because of who you are and what you stand for. You. Like, times have really changed. Now with the whole social media age and all of that good stuff, people are really buying into brands and buying into the person who stands behind the company. So you I'm gonna keep on saying it, you are the reason why you should still sell hair regardless of the fact that everybody else sells hair. It's because of you. You are somebody different. You're unique. You're a breath of fresh air. You are trustworthy. It's something that's going to be different about you than me. It's kind of the same like why start a YouTube channel when everybody creates a YouTube channel. Well, because we relate to certain YouTubers more than others, right? Y'all probably watch my YouTube channel because I'm real, I'm honest, I don't mind sharing information. That's what makes me different from the next YouTuber, you know? So that's the same, all this wind blowing, hopefully y'all can hear me. But that is the same reason why somebody would shop with your company over the next person's company. So hopefully I've been helpful. Make sure you start listening to podcasts. Make sure you follow other successful business owners, because it will keep you motivated, and know that you are awesome and you can do this, okay?